Hi, I'm Linda Gillespie. We're here today to start the next series of presentations called Bite Size Health with Sara. You may have seen her previous presentations on our website, texascolon.com. Sara will do an overview in this presentation as a starting point for the rest of the year and what we'll be doing then. First, I'd like to tell you a bit about Sara. She has spent the last 20 years dedicated to finding the causes of various ailments and improving conditions like autism, colitis, and various other conditions. Initially, she focused on family and friends, but over the years it expanded. She has completed her health coach training and regularly attends seminars and classes to remain on the cutting edge of what is being discovered. And that's about our health biome and other health issues, and she does that on a daily basis. So Sara, I know that you've done several of our presentations and we covered different topics, but the gut biome is a term that we hear a lot about. I thought maybe you could give us just a little bit. It's like when somebody says that to me, it's like, oh, I know that, but do I really know that?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good place to start. Thank you so much, Linda. I'm so glad to be doing this and empowering our patients to take their health into their own hands. And yeah, let's start by talking about the gut microbiome. So what that means, it's in your gut, in our gut, everybody's gut, there is a series of bacteria that are responsible for everything you do, from metabolizing your food to making vitamins to pretty much any function that you can think of. Your gut microbiome is involved. Now, there is a lot more bacteria in our gut that there are human cells. So the DNA of the bacteria in our body outnumbers our DNA by 100 to 1. So you can essentially say that we're more bacteria than human cell. And we need to take care of these little guys. Now we have beneficial bacteria and we have bad bacteria. Our bodies need both to function. However, we have to make sure that they're kept in balance. So when we have more of the bad bacteria than the good bacteria, that condition is called dysbiosis. And dysbiosis can lead into obesity, diabetes, SIBO, SIFO, IBS, and SIBO stands for small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, IBS. So we have to make sure that we keep all these bacteria in balance at all times. The bacteria need to stay mostly in your colon, and that's the area that they are. But if you keep them out of balance, they can move up to your small intestine and they can cause a condition called SIBO. Dysbiosis can also lead into ulcerative colitis, inflammation. So it's best to keep them in balance. So there are a lot of factors that are involved with keeping the bacteria in balance. Would you like me to go over some of them, or how do you feel about that?
Well, that would be good because I know we get so much information coming at us, and a lot of us have, say, more than one condition: diabetes, depression, we're overweight, so many different areas that we want to work on. And then there's the whole well, you should be on a keto diet, a paleo diet, a totally plant-based diet, some combination. So it's, we want to fix things, but knowing where to start becomes an issue. So is it fair to say that really starting with that gut is, and how to improve that would be like a good starting place, and it can start to heal a lot of those different areas and see improvement?
Oh, absolutely. Our gut is involved in everything. This may be surprising to some of you, but over 70% of our immune system is actually housed in our gut. So people that get sick often, they need to balance their gut. Obesity, everything starts from the gut and goes everywhere else. And I'm sure that we're going to have a talk probably on the gut-brain connection, but I'm glad that you brought up depression and anxiety and that gut-brain connection. So if your gut microbiome is in dysbiosis, it's not in balance, it can communicate with your brain via vagus nerve. That's one of the modalities that they communicate. There are two other ones that are a little bit more complicated, so we can focus on just the vagus nerve. So if you've noticed, like when you're anxious, you feel like you need to go to the bathroom. Vice versa, if you can't go to the bathroom all the time, or if you have diarrhea, it can bring a little bit of anxiety. So that's not accidental. There is a huge connection between the gut and brain. And there's a lot of things that affect it. What we know for sure that, and I'm sure you've seen that in the practice, the number of disorders have risen. Ulcerative colitis, colon cancer. I don't know the exact stats right now, but the numbers have grown. We were talking just before this video how 10 years ago, people didn't know what SIBO was. It wasn't a diagnosis. And now a lot of people struggle with SIBO. IBS, the number of IBS patients have gone up. And before, a lot of physician would consider irritable bowel syndrome maybe a kind of a brain mental disorder. But looked at it at a negative way. But now we know, yeah, there is a connection between, it's not what they thought to be, but there is a connection between stress and IBS and how it affects your gut microbiome. And there is a reason why all these numbers have increased over the past years. The biggest is our diet. The industrialization of our diet in the past 100 years have contributed to these issues. We don't eat real food anymore. We eat packaged food. We eat foods with 100 ingredients. Some of them we can't even pronounce. So that's a huge issue. We consume so much more sugar now than we did years ago. And that's just not white sugar, pasta, ultra processed flours. We overwhelm our body by the amount of sugar that we're consuming, and we don't consume as much fiber anymore. That's another big problem. So those all have contributed to the rise of all these illnesses that we notice. Our sleep is off. As a nation, we thrive on the fact that, oh, I don't need much sleep to get the work done.
That's true. We're proud of it.
Yes. Yeah. And that's nothing to be proud of. You know, our bodies, our gut microbiome, they need to sleep. They need to rest. Our stress level, our stress level can affect the gut microbiome. The chemicals we're exposed to daily, that has a huge effect on our gut microbiome. Like all the pesticides, herbicides, all the glyphosate, that's something that's not talked about enough. The hand sanitizers that we use during COVID to keep clean, that affects our gut microbiome. The medication we take, all the antibiotics that were prescribed at the first sign of sneeze or illness, that affects our gut microbiome. The PPIs that we take for heartburn, for reflux, that all affects our gut microbiome. So those are some of the things that affect our gut microbiome. Those are some of the things that we need to be more thoughtful of. Some of the things that we can change, or change can be overwhelming, and I know that. So, but if you can make a change, like small changes, daily or weekly, you go further than you were yesterday. So don't think about just changing everything altogether, going all organic, cutting all sugar out, adding so much fiber, not using a hand sanitizer ever. You don't want to make all those changes all at once, but just pick 3 things that you would feel it's easy for you to incorporate in your life, and that's where you start.
Okay, well, I know listening to you talk and all the things that affect that, I also realize that when I don't get enough sleep, I get up in the morning and I tend to forget what my routine is because I'm tired, and then I don't drink enough water through the day. And it's a simple change like saying, when I eat out, I'm going to have water instead of soda or sweet tea or something simple like that. Just one little starting point to start
Oh,
getting enough water through the day.
absolutely. And I love that you brought that up because our body, our brain is made up mostly of water. So even the smallest amount of dehydration affects us. Like you can get a headache. So if you can make simple habits, if you can, and drinking water is one of that. Like make sure to have I usually tell my clients to have about 16 ounces of water upon waking up after they brush their teeth, have 16 ounces of water. And a lot of them don't have trouble with drinking the water, but it's just remembering to
That's
drink it.
That is it.
That's
Yeah.
the issue. So what I say, just put the water next to your coffee pot. If you drink tea, just put it next to the kettle to remind you of drinking water. And that's a change that that's a very small change that has a huge impact on your body. So I'm so glad. Yeah, changes like that make a huge difference. Just small, tiny changes every day.
Okay, well, if we were going to say, let's work on maybe 3 things, even if it's one time a week, water being one of them, what are 2 other things that perhaps somebody could, I don't know, a short walk or a maybe skipping dessert or
Yeah,
something,
to
I don't know.
implement.
I'm making stuff up.
No, I love that. Those are all such good suggestions, such good suggestions. I would think the thing that makes the most difference after drinking water, I think it's starting with a savory breakfast. So I would always start your day with a savory breakfast. Don't start with something sweet because that sets you up for
Wanting more sweet through the day.
and not success all day long. And speaking of sweets, the other thing is if you're more mindful of how much sugar you're eating daily, so maybe cut back on adding sugar to your sweet tea, or that's a Texas thing, so I'm not sure if that's even possible. Is it okay to drink sweet tea without sugar?
To have tea without sugar? I don't know.
So maybe, okay, maybe I pushed that too far. Maybe let's not do that. But maybe if you can just cut back on eating so much bread or so much flour, or just skip the donuts in the morning, skip dessert, as you said. So if you're mindful of taking sugar daily, so yeah, drinking your water, starting with savory breakfast and cutting back our sugar, I think you'll be on your way,
Okay.
to making things better.
And
for
they are simple changes that we should be able to do. And will there be days that you miss it? Probably. But
Yeah, and that's something that I wanted to talk about. Being healthy is not a sprint, it's a marathon. So if you fall off the wagon one day, if you forget to drink your water one day, 2 days, it's fine. Just start the next day. If you're at a birthday party and you're like, ooh, I really want to have a slice of cake, that's fine. Have the cake. Just be mindful of it and cut back the next day, because the stress that you put on yourselves for not having that slice of cake is just as bad as having the slice of cake. So just pick your battles, make it easy on you. If you want the slice of cake, just have it. Just be mindful of it. And next day, don't have as much sugar.
Like treat it as a treat as opposed to just something that you're going to have on a regular basis.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I look forward to having these small tips, coming up in our next sessions. And if you guys are interested about a topic that you guys like us to cover, you can email, and we're going to have an email information, our
Yep.
email information. So you can email us. And if you have any questions, just, you can always email me at sarah@healthwithsarah.com. Yeah.
Okay. And I think that concludes today's presentation, and we'll be back in probably a month, 3 to 4 weeks, and we'll be doing this on a regular basis. So as Sarah said, if there's something that you want to know about, just let us know and we'll cover it. So you guys have a healthy day, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, guys. Have a good day.